Hi, I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and I thought I'd put my Fivics shirt on today and Fivics hat and do a review on the Fivics Vellator limbs. Now, recurve limbs come in all different price points, from cheap to expensive. I'm going to say the difference is the materials. So you've got different qualities fiberglass, different qualities of foam, and different qualities of carbon. Now, Fivics do this quite nicely. They've got their cheap Xena limbs, which stop at £28. The Vellator limb is their medium price point limb. This is a carbon foam limb. It also comes in a carbon wood limb. So it's a good quality carbon with a good quality foam. Then they have their high-end limbs, which is the Argons and the Titans, which have special foams and special carbons. Okay, so what's the difference between the materials? How long it lasts. Now, Fivics do this nicely because their cheap limbs stop at £28. You're going to have more problems with a cheap limb at a high poundage because it's under more stress than you would with a expensive limb at high poundage. So if you're using high poundage, use better quality gear basically. So with cheap limbs, you're not really going to have a problem at low poundage because they're not under much strain. With the expensive limbs, that's when they kind of come into their own because you're at higher poundage and you're putting them under more pressure. So Vellator's mid price Fivics, and I was looking for a limb to go to £36. So I've been shooting £32, struggling a bit, and I was like, well, let's try upping the poundage. Now, I thought about 34, but then I thought, let's make a jump to 36. This is what I did when I started recurve archery. I jumped from 32 to 36. Found it really hard, and gradually worked my way up to then the 40s and eventually up to 56. So this is 36. Now, the problem in going up in limbs, and when I say up in poundage, is you've got to change arrows, and it's very hard to know what arrows to go for as far as spine. Now, for me, I was like, well, which spine do I go for? Is it 800s or 700s? So at £32, my 700s were way too stiff. I could still shoot with them. They weren't coming out nice. I was getting fletch damage. I was still shooting okay scores, but they were striking the bow on the way through. So I thought, well, with the high poundage limbs, I'll be okay with 700s. But I don't know until I shoot, so we're going to shoot these. Now, I fitted spin wings. Spin wings are going to be more susceptible to damage if they hit the bow, so they're going to basically crack off as opposed to vanes. So if you're starting off, I'd recommend plastic vanes because just less damage. But I thought, look, these things look pretty. Now, I had a whole question going on, which arrows do I go for when going up in poundage, because I'm hoping not to stick with these limbs for very long, and that's why I didn't want the expensive limbs. And Fivics don't make a cheaper limb at £36, so you've got to go to Vellators. I could have gone for another brand limb, but I was like, well, let's try these out. Now, I'm going to say overall, Fivics, I've been selling Fivics for a while now, and I've had no warranties. They've been absolutely amazing. Can be slow to get, so I don't know if Fivics is going to hate me for that. So sometimes there's delay in getting it, and that's been pretty common across the industry in the last 2 years with COVID. So anyway, I went for the Pandaris Infinities. These are a cheap carbon. They're a 4.2, so that's like an ACE in thickness, or a Victory VAP, or it's like a gold tip Pierce. But these are cheap. They're probably around $60 a dozen. I've got a standard point. I decided to go for 120s at the front to sort of soften them up a bit because I thought they might be a bit stiff. I've gone the Pandaris spin wings because they're cheap. I actually like them. I find they stick on really well. So let's see how they fly, and let's see if I can pull back the bow. Now again, as you go up in poundage, it's going to be harder. So my recommendation is, and I probably didn't follow myself, is to build up. Like start off shooting 6 arrows, then build up to 12, then 24, and then 36, and then 60, and then 90. And if you have to, you shoot 3 arrow ends. Shoot 5 arrow ends, shoot 4 arrow ends. Do whatever you can because you've got to build the strength. So let's just see how this feels. And what I'm interested in is see how these tune out the bow as far as where the bare shaft hits versus the fletched. Now I can feel a lot more pressure on this shoulder trying to push it up. You don't get that with the lower poundage. You can hold your body in the correct position that you're meant to. As you go up in poundage, form becomes really, really critical because your body's wanting to push up against the force and collapse basically. So it's really important to have good form. So this is the unfletched arrow. And when you're doing this, start off close. Don't do it at 30 meters straight off because you're more likely to miss the target. Just go close, and that way, errors, and when I say errors, things are not magnified. The further you go back, the more it magnifies the problem. Oh, my clicker moved. I don't know what happened. That's not a good sign. So I've moved from there to there. Now that has never occurred to me before. So I'm going to guess maybe the arrow hit it. I don't know. It's not a good sign. Maybe I bumped it. I don't know. So with archery, when people break things, they generally blame the equipment. I'm going to say it's set up or the person did something wrong. Like, I've shot this bow for literally a year. That clicker's been in the same spot for a year, no issues. New arrows, new limbs, first shot, I have a problem. So there's something went on then, and I don't know what it was, and it's on the camera. But I'm not blaming the gear, because the gear I've been shooting for a year, right? So new limbs, new arrows. The arrows looks pretty straight on the target, so. Oh, I know what it is. New arrows. I didn't clean the glue off of the end. So this is the thing with my videos. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. I made these arrows last night and I used hot melt glue on the points and on the pins, and basically the clicker's hitting the hot melt glue and it's pushing itself back as I draw. So the more I drew it, the more the clicker's moving back. So I obviously had no hope in that thing ever clicking. You can see I don't rehearse my videos. That's straight off the cuff. I mean, I see these people do videos and they shoot this amazing group at 90 meters. I'm like, that's, how many times did you shoot for that to occur? It's like, that's good. So those two arrows are dead together, so that's really good. Now it is hurting me to pull this bow back. So with the 36-pound limbs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and shoot 6 arrows today. I might shoot like 3 arrows, then 3 arrows, or maybe another 3 arrows. Shooting archery is like weight training. It's a physical activity and you've got to go and do it. And then once you build up the strength to pull it back, then you've got to be like a marathon runner to be able to do that all day. And then once you can do that, go up in your limb poundage. So one of my staff shooting 42 pounding goes, I don't know why I have to go beyond that. I'm like, because you can. That's why we train, so we can become stronger and better. Anyway, I like the graphics on the Vellators. Look, they feel the same as all the rest of the limbs, right? So I was just shooting the Motives Win and Wins. I was shooting the Titan from Fivics before the operation, which was the $1,000 limbs. I think I shot the Xena limbs, which are a $200 limb. Look, it's all the same. And when I say it's all the same, it feels pretty much the same. I've seen people do tests comparing the $1,000 limbs on speed and performance. It's all the same. What you're getting is different quality. So these are a medium quality limb, and for what I want, I need to shoot for, I don't know how long I'll shoot these limbs. I'm guessing I'll be shooting these limbs in the Nationals. So I'm going to guess I'm going to get a couple of months use out of them. And then I'll sell them off as second-hand limbs in the store. Or someone will say, oh, I need 36-pound limbs. About half my archery gear that I've shot is at the archery club being shot. So I go down there, I see my old second-hand bows, my second-hand limbs. Look, that's feeling pretty good. Last night I drew this back in my lounge when I got these limbs. I got these limbs last night. I started making up these arrows last night. It was late, it was around 8 o'clock, and I really couldn't draw this bow back. I was like, I can't pull it back. I've really chosen the wrong limbs. And I felt like one of my customers who goes, you've recommended the wrong poundage limbs to me. I was like, I've got the wrong poundage limbs. I should have gone for 34. I should have shot them 32 pounds longer. Look, these feel okay. These feel okay today. So we're going to start the whole process of building up with 36-pound limbs and getting ready to shoot like 60 odd arrows with 36-pound limbs. That's where I'd like to get to in a couple of weeks. We'll see if we can do that, and we'll do a video to see how we've gone. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Fivics Vellator limbs, really good quality limbs. Nice price point right in the middle. So you're going to ask, what sort of price point are they going to sell for? So off the top of my head, because I haven't priced them up, so your top of the line limbs sell for $1,000. Your cheap limbs sell for around $200. These are going to be in the middle. So I'm going to guess $450. Now I'm going to say the wood's a little bit cheaper than the foam, so probably around $50 cheaper than foam. I prefer the foam for a few reasons. Wood is subject to temperature and different changes. Foam's not. With some of the cheaper limbs, they're not sealed on the edge, so moisture can get into the wood. You can see these are nicely sealed. Look, they're a beautiful finish. Limb tips are beautiful. Look, I think they look every bit as good as the $1,000 limbs. I'm going to say probably some of the win $1,000 limbs look amazing. So, and that's not degrading the Fivics limb, because I'm more than happy. I've been shooting them forever, and I think they look great. But some of that artwork on the win stuff is just blows me away. But this looks amazing. More than happy with it. And I'm going to say also, I just ordered a whole bunch of Vellator limbs from Fivics, and Fivics had in stock the current model of graphics, and they're about to release a new graphics on the Vellator, and they said, do you want to wait for the new ones or the old? And I was like, I don't care. Now, some customers will care about the quality of the graphics on their limbs. Me, I don't care. I'm interested in the materials. And you can, well, you sell the stuff. Well, yeah, I do. The way it looks, this looks pretty. I don't really like this. Looks fine. I'm more interested in shooting arrows, and I'm more interested in the results of shooting arrows rather than what the graphics look like. Now, people won't buy limbs where the graphics look terrible generally, from my experience. There's a whole bunch of limbs on the market which don't look that good, in my view, and they struggle to sell for that reason. These limbs look great. So, yeah. I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies. Thanks for watching. And remember, the more you shoot, the better you'll shoot, and the more you'll enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Bye.